So, let us take some time to talk about Canvas. As I have said before, Canvas is our drawing area, which means that anything that is inside the canvas, it gets shown, it gets displayed, and anything that's outside, it is lost. And that's why it's very important for us to make sure we have a good understanding of Canvas, its size, its position, its properties, so we are able to display our images correctly and we don't come across things that we haven't, um, we weren't expecting. So what I want to show is that when I'm creating canvas, there are many ways to create canvas. I can put pixel values manually. I can put window width, window height, display width, display height, and with these ways I'm able to actually make the canvas a bit more scalable and modular because although I have like 400 and 400 and it fits quite perfectly on my computer screen, I'm not quite sure if I would be able to view 400 and 400 pixels on my mobile phone, and I'm definitely going to need different sizing properties for this one. Yep. So when I create a canvas, I need to specify its width and height. And what happens is that after I create this canvas, the width of the canvas gets stored in a variable called width, and the height gets stored also in a variable that allows me to access these properties. So in this example, if I created a canvas 400 by 400, both my width and height would be 400 and 400. As for the locations and navigation within the canvas, we use this thing called Cartesian coordinate system, which is something you may have been familiar, that goes as like x-axis and y-axis, and it is allowing us to display the locations in 2 dimensions. And this Cartesian coordinate system, it was actually named after the French mathematician and philosopher René Descartes, which is the guy who was famous for saying, "Oh, I think therefore I am." I just find this information a bit exciting. And as you know, there's also this thing called origin in a Cartesian coordinate system, which is shown as 0 by 0, where the x is 0, y is 0. But what happens with P5 is that our origin, it gets displayed on this upper left corner, 0, 0. So here is width by 0, and this is going to be height and 0, and this edge is going to be width and height. So for most of these, most of the functions you're writing and showing your shapes, what you do is, if you have like something like a circle, you need to put the x position, y position, and the size, and then it gets displayed wherever it is. But sometimes what we like to happen is that we do not really enjoy the fact that the origin is placed in the upper left corner. And in this case, there's something else we can do, which is called translation. So, okay. When I have this 0 by 0, what I can do is actually, I can use this function called translate. And that is going to translate, move the, a bit big for you, sorry. It's going to move the coordinate system into a different place. So if I'm use the translate function width divided by 2 and height divided by 2, then what is going to happen is, while the initial origin, it was around somewhere like this, it is going to move width by 2 and height by 2, and it is going to get redrawn. Oops, maybe this is not the best color. Okay, sorry about that. Let me pick something better. It is going to get drawn at the center. But what happens right now is that once I move my Cartesian coordinate system within the canvas, I no longer have my coordinates placed out as 0 to width. It gets redrawn from minus width divided by 2 to positive width divided by 2. So let me get it. This is going to be width divided minus width divided by 2. Here is 0, and here is width divided by 2. And this is going to be the same case as right. It's going to be height divided by 2, and this is going to be minus height divided by 2. And actually this setup, it is quite useful when we want to do symmetric operations, things that are not, things that we don't want to repeat over and over. So if we can display something at the positive dimension, we can also just mirror it in the negative and vice versa. And I just want to, tell you guys about this thing because I know it is sometimes very confusing, given that usually the general Cartesian coordinate system, it goes from positive, negative, 0, 0. While our positive one is up in here, and negative one is up in here. In here, our negative is up in here, and our positive is down in here. So this is just something to catch an eye on. So let's have a little demonstration. Okay, so if you go back to our initial sketch, if I change these from mouse locations to 0 by 0, we see that the circle gets drawn at least a quarter of the circle gets drawn at the upper left corner. However, if I translate my canvas by width divided by 2 and height divided by 2, it is going to get redrawn at the new origin, which is going to be the right center of my canvas. And if I want to check out where these positions are, I can see that the new width is in here, the negative width is in here, and then the new height is going to be, oops, sorry, my bad. It has to be in this part. New height is going to be down here, and the negative one is going to be up here. So this is why I wanted to show that it could be a bit confusing. Another thing that we can do is, aside from translating the canvas, we can actually rotate it, and it's going to give us a quite different look of it. So what we do is, if we do rotate, and just for a heads up, the default angles of the P5JS are in radians, so we're going to be using pi. So if I rotate it by pi divided by 6, which is going to be 30 degrees, I change its location slightly. Oh. and it goes into different places. So this is also something you need to keep a good track of, because as I said, it's very important that you understand where your canvas is at, so you're not drawing shapes out of place.